So what are these 10 things, my brothers and my sisters, or these 10 points that I have written down here that will make us, inshaAllah ta'ala, from the beloved servants of Allah Azza wa Jal? And it will also cause us to have love in our hearts towards Allah Jalla fi'ala. في الأسباب الجالبة للمحبة والموجب لها وهي 10. Number 1, my brothers and my sisters, قراءة القرآن بالتدبر والتفهم لمعانيه وما أريد به. Reciting the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with contemplation, with reflection, trying to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends with His speech. كتدبر الكتاب الذي يحفظه العبد ويشرحه ليتفهم مراد صاحبه منه. And then he gives an example. The same way an individual really goes out his way to understand a book that he's reading or a book that he's trying to explain to others. Right? I'll tell you guys a story. My friend one time told me that he was on the flight to one of these Gulf countries. And on this flight was this Muslim brother, Khaliji, right, from the Gulf areas, who had Richard Dawkins' book, The Atheist. And besides him, he had a dictionary. And the brother says to me, I looked at him and you could see he was in deep thought, really trying to understand what Richard Dawkins was trying to say, this atheist. Right? This individual, born and bred in a Muslim country, my brothers and my sisters, where you have every Islamic material, right, at your disposal, so easy to find and accessible, right? So he's got the dictionary and he keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, subhanAllah, every sentence he needed to go back to the dictionary, really going out his way. So he asked him, what is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish by reading this book? He goes, I'm exploring my thoughts and ideas. You never know, I might walk away with something different, right? So he asked him, have you read the Quran? He goes, yeah, we grew up reading the Quran. Have you ever tried to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to say? And the brother said, no. So you're putting all of this time and effort in trying to understand Richard Dawkins, this atheist, right, who's anti-religion, but the religion that you were born in, you haven't given it a chance. A lot of the answers that we look for, my brothers and my sisters, especially when we go to these universities, right? And by the way, these universities that are breeding grounds for kufr, shirk, feminism, liberalism, secularism, right? All of these different isms, and of course, the Rainbow Team are extremely active, right? These universities are breeding grounds for all of this. Am I wrong to say this, my brothers and my sisters? I am someone who went to university. I was doing civil engineering. One of the reasons as to why I actually decided to leave, because I went there for 1 year, and then the opportunity of going to Medina, it presented itself. And I just want to make it clear, I'm not trying to tell anyone to drop out of university, before I get your mothers and fathers chasing after me. I'm not saying that. I got accepted, that was one of the reasons why I went, but also another reason was, my brothers and my sisters, I would see Orientalists who are non-Muslims who learn about our religion, not so he could become guided or become a Muslim, no. So that they could target vulnerable Muslims who are uneducated about their religion. I would see them roaming around campus targeting these kind of individuals, right? And I'm like, I'm here. Yes, I spent 4 years in Yemen. However, these guys are here learning my religion. Maybe it's time for me to take this opportunity and to start learning more about it, right? They would walk around university campus targeting individuals who are on the edge. And that, unfortunately, is the case with many, right? We don't have the ammunition to fortify ourselves when the doubts start coming from every direction, right? Wallahi al-azim, I did a tour around the country, 27 universities. Manchester was one of them. 27 universities I went round. I would deliver a lecture about Surah Yusuf, but I would try to make it relatable to the student, the university student, right? And just about every single one of these universities, someone would come up to me and goes, yeah, man, some of these classes I'm taking is a problem, right? Some of these classes I'm taking is a problem. Because I don't have that foundation, these doubts, when it comes my way, I really struggle to repel it, right? My brothers and my sisters, Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayruh. The Quran has the answers that we are looking for, whether you realize it or not, right? Whether you realize it or not. I get academics calling me, right? Individuals who are very good at philosophy and all of these different isms. They know how to respond back to it. However, they want, the Islamic side of things. So they say to me, can you give me like maybe a verse or a hadith that I could link it with, or a statement of a scholar of the past, so I could give that Islamic spin to it, right? And subhanAllah, I say to myself, you have a lot of these Western theologians, Western individuals who are very, very well versed when it comes to Islamic theology, right? Who might say a number of things, and then we glorify these terms, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already told you that. And the Messenger uttered it over 1400 years ago. And the scholars have spoken about this a very, very long time ago, right? It always makes me appreciate the knowledge that we have studied whenever I get into some of these discussions. And then likewise, my brothers and my sisters, right? Sometimes we ask questions as if, right, Islam is some human being. What does Islam say about this? What does Islam say about that? What's the position of Islam on this? Why don't you ask me, what does Allah say? Can you see how the dynamics completely change when you say, what does Allah, the Almighty Creator, has to say about this particular issue? And then sometimes you're not told the reason as to why you have to do this, or why you have to stay away from this. And that is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty Creator, my brothers and my sisters, has governed us with a sharia that is best for every single one of us, whether we see the good in it or not. My brothers and my sisters, I speak to atheists, right? And every atheist that I speak to has different morals and ways of looking at life, right? Which is different to the other. This guy says to you, yeah, this is something that I should do. This is something I should stay away from. You ask him why? He goes, You speak to another atheist, very, very different as to what he sees morally acceptable and what he doesn't. Are you brothers and sisters with me? It's very, very important. If I ask you today, my brothers and my sisters, cannibalism, does anyone know what that means? Huh? When a human eats another human. What do you guys think of that? Okay, should we do it? Should we not? Huh? Anybody want to eat human beings here? Huh? Huh? He said it's disgusting. يحب أحدكم يأكل لحم أخيه فكرهتموه. Allah says, would you love to eat the flesh of your brother? When speaking about backbiting, you dislike it. Sahih? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that up until this very day, there are some places around the world where this is perfectly fine? It's perfectly fine. Why do they do it? You probably will ask them the question and they'll say, didn't it? Right? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that smoking weed, right, was unlawful in just about everywhere you go in America? However, now in a lot of states, it started being legalized. It's shifting. Whatever was maybe totally unacceptable before, and likewise a lot of the other colorful things as well, right? In a lot of places, when it was unacceptable, as time went on, it started becoming a lot more acceptable. So you speak to an atheist, he says to you certain things are perfectly fine, and these things we need to stay away from, but based on what? You speak to another atheist, it's completely contradicted to what the first one said. This is why, my brothers and my sisters, we are left with no choice except that we refer to an external entity, and that is none other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who governs us with a sharia which tells us what we should do and what we shouldn't. Otherwise the world will become chaotic, and this is why it's chaotic, because everyone wants to do what they wish and they want to accept life in a way that they desire. And that's why we have the situation that we do, right? Same when you look at the law of the land. If everyone did whatever they wanted, how do you think the world or the country would be? Imagine now there was no traffic lights. Everyone could just go in and out, and it'd be further, right? We are in need of a sharia that governs us, that tells us what we should do and what we shouldn't. Does that make sense, my brothers and my sisters? Not so long ago, we came across this article, I believe it was on the Independent and also the Daily Mirror and the Daily Mail, about pork and alcohol. Does anyone remember? Huh? Does anyone remember the article, the news article that was speaking about bacon and alcohol? Come on, guys, am I the only one that reads the news? Huh? Huh, brothers and sisters? Let me read it out to you guys. Huh? The article stated bacon and alcohol increase stomach cancer risk. Even 1% of that, you are at risk of stomach cancer. It was on the Independent, an official news outlet. Now we're going to believe in the deen? We needed 1400 years for somebody to come along and tell us, oh, we shouldn't eat bacon, or you shouldn't drink alcohol, right? Even though Allah told us it is harmful. Yes, there might be some benefits to it, right? وَمَنَافِعُ لِنَاسِ وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرُ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. Right? Allah already told us. But we didn't accept because, oh, it doesn't make sense to me, but why is everybody doing it? Oh, why this, why that? Allah told you. Right? Otherwise, there will be fawda. It will be chaos, my brothers and my sisters. Right? After my brothers and my sisters, I went on a bit of a there. But the shahid min al-kalam, my brothers and my sisters, when you look up the meanings of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has uttered in His book, Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayru, you will grow in your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We just need to open up that Quran and learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended. I'll give you guys another example, my brothers and my sisters. Right. Put your hand up if you're looking to pursue a sister. You guys engaged, huh? There's quite a few, mashallah, quite a few brothers. May Allah Azza wa Jal give you righteous wives. And our sisters, did I say wives? Type. Wives only, guys, huh? Women, huh? Nothing else. And may Allah Azza wa Jal give our sisters righteous husbands. When you come to know about a sister that has this characteristic and that characteristic and then this trait and then that trait, what does that do to you? Huh? What do you want to do next? You want to get to know that sister even more now, right? It's a potential. It increased your desire to have this lady, sahih? Not that I'm trying to compare this lady to Allah Azza wa Jalla, my brothers and my sisters, not at all, right? But the more we learn about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the more this increases our love for Allah Jalla fi'ala, right? And we'll speak later inshallah ta'ala about the only source of knowledge that we have with regards to Allah Azza wa Jalla, a little bit later inshallah, as this is one of the points. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi, my brothers and my sisters, he says, ما رأيت شيئا يغذي العقل والروح ويحفظ الجسم ويضمن السعادة أكثر من إدامة النظر في كتاب الله. I haven't seen anything that feeds the mind and the soul and protects your body, right? And also guarantees you happiness more than looking in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Subhanallah. what I'm going to suggest to every single one of you guys, because it's one thing giving a reminder and it's another providing practical steps to what we say. Have you guys heard of the tafsir of Ibn Kathir? The abridged version is translated into English. I think I may have said it before here, Allahu A'lam. 10 volumes. Alhamdulillah, I've been getting a lot of people messaging me because I said it in other lectures. Right? And they said, this Ramadan we're going to do it. Guys, I don't like reading English books. But that was the sweetest English book that I've read. Even the way it's written is not like in old ancient English. You will love it, my brothers and my sisters. It's £140. Some of you guys spend hundreds of pounds on Balenciaga trainers. Right? It is the sweetest £150 that you're going to spend. Right? Still have how many days to the end of Ramadan? Yeah, maybe another 20 or so. Guys, if you can buy it, and then you dedicate a part of your day to start reading a bit of it. Right? One of these YouTubers that every single one of you guys know, I told him, go get this kitab. Right? He goes, I already had it at home, but it was picking up dust. He goes, just reading Surah Al-Fatiha, it blew me away. Right? Looking up its meanings. My brothers and my sisters. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, it is the abridged version. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, it is in English, 10 volumes. It is green volumes, my brothers and my sisters. Also Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi says, فَقِرَاءَةُ الْقُرْآنِ أو فَقِرَاءَةُ آيَةٍ بِتَفَكُّرٍ وَتَفَهُّمٍ خَيْرٌ مِنْ قِرَاءَةِ خَتْمَةٍ بِغَيْرِ تَدَبُّرٍ وَتَفَهُّمٍ. Right? Reciting one verse with contemplation and trying to understand its meanings, it is a lot better than doing a whole khatmah, where one reads the whole Quran without understanding anything from it. And it is more beneficial for the heart. وَأَنْفَعُ لِلْقَلْبِ وَأَدْعَى إِلَى حُصُولِ الْإِيمَانِ وَذَوْقِ حَلَاوَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. Right? And it is more effective with one trying to taste the sweetness of the Quran, my brothers and my sisters. Number 2, my brothers and my sisters,